We're back, yes we are, and I hope that you've all had a great Easter break. I know that I did. I watched movies, more movies, bit of Netflix, bit of Amazon Prime, and I'm ready to roll again. So today, first of all, let me apologise. My voice is still very croaky, but the allergies situation is real for me. Hay fever and coughing and sneezing like it's midwinter, but I know it's not, it's allergies, so apologies. Now, today I want to focus on the exam years, and what I'd like to say to you is do not panic. There is some good news on the horizon, and that good news is, well, I've got 3 bits of good news for you, things that are in your control to a large extent. The first thing I'd like to talk to you about is teacher assessment, and I know I've had a lot of queries about the effects of bias with teacher assessment. Well, let me break it down for you. That teacher assessment has to follow guidelines, and those guidelines say that it has to have evidence attached to it. It must have evidence. We've talked about this evidence before as a triangulation. So not only is it based on a final assessment, but it's also based on other bits of work that you've done, and not too far back either. So it wouldn't be for year 11s, we wouldn't be taking into account work in year 8 and year 9. That was in a different world. It would be a case of taking into account bits of work that you've done which will count towards your assessment, and if anything, justify the grades that you achieved in your final exam. Now, not only is there the triangulation, but there is also an issue of what if a teacher doesn't like me? Now, first of all, I would say it takes a lot for a teacher not to like a student. And in most cases, I'd say it's not actually the case that the teacher doesn't like the student. But I'm not going to rule it out. I can't, because I don't know every teacher and I don't know every student. But the solution is this. The final grade is based on a teacher assessing your work and then another teacher assessing the assessment. So teachers will have their assessments still measured up by other teachers. So there is an element of fairness there. And the final assessment will have to be signed off by senior management. And they are not necessarily signing off that the assessment is correct, but they are signing off that the guideline has been followed. I know. What you're thinking is that doesn't mean that the assessment is correct. I absolutely agree with you. However, there is an appeals process in place. So, let's go over the good news number 1. First of all, there's a triangulation of assessment happening. Triangulation. Second of all, teacher assessment is backed up by a second teacher. So if you are thinking that your teacher will be biased, another teacher will be backing that assessment up. Thirdly, senior management have to put their signature on it to say that the procedures have been followed and that, I know, don't laugh, that no pressure has been laid to bear by parents and carers and students. I know, no comment. Right, that's good news number 1. Second good news is that it's still in your control, because while that triangulation is happening, you still have the ability to bring those grades up. I had excellent news this week with one of my students who was assessed at a grade 2 for geography just before half term last October. We've worked hard, we've put structures in place, and in her last paper she was tripping over herself to tell me that she got a grade 6. It's almost unknown, but we found what she needed, we gave her what she needed, and she got it. If you want that kind of transformation, you know what to do. Hit jgeducate.com. But it's still in your control is the good news. It's still in your control. You can still turn things around as long as you focus and you look at what you don't know and ask those questions. Because if you have been taught it, you can almost guarantee that you're going to be assessed on it. I know what is in the assessments is still out there a bit, but it's still going to be assessed if it has been taught. So do yourself a favour and start listing down the things you're unclear about and asking questions, or get hold of us at jgeducate.com. We're happy to help you through that process of getting extra help because it's needed. So that's good news number 2. And good news number 3 is there is still time for you to really boost yourself up by looking after yourself. You can't sit assessments if you're burnt out. You can't sit assessments if you're not eating properly, if you haven't exercised, if you haven't seen the light of day in hours, minutes, days. You get my drift. You really, really must look after yourself. There is still time for you to turn yourself around, start making sure you get those nutritions and look after your own well-being. Getting a good assessment is lovely, but getting a good assessment and being too unwell excuse me, to enjoy it is not pleasant at all. You've got a life to lead after this, so make sure you look after yourself. There's still time. Okay? So get all of the help you need in all of the bits of good news. In general, it's that there is good news. And even though it's been a real palaver in bringing it together, and it still hasn't been brought together in a believable way, it is in your control. Those 3 bits of good news lead to it is still in your control to be able to do this. And I am still going to be here to help you, and my tutors are standing by to help you, and you still have the option of a no obligation call. You still have all of these options out there for you, and you still can be like my little geography diva and increase those grades and get that feeling of what it feels like to get a brilliant grade and have real hope put back in your life. Because I know exam years have had it absolutely sucked out of them with uncertainty this year. Let's put it back. Listen to this video again. Realize what you can do. Get it moving, and let's make the most of this term. This term, everything can turn around, and we're here to help you. If you liked what you heard today, share it. Subscribe to the channel. Let's keep it moving. There's always education. I'm a lifetime learner. As old as I am, I like to learn something new every day. Most of all, have a good day, have a good week, and I'll speak to you again next week. See ya.